Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be the only person left in the world? Without any ferocious zombies? Or dinosaurs trying to eat you? What if you could just chillax and make your survival shelter your very own personal space, while living your best life? Let me introduce you to I Am Future, a cozy survival game set in the vibrant, post-apocalyptic world.
Warning.
You start off awakening from a hibernation pod after being asleep for 6 years, 6 months, and 5 days. You emerge from the pod looking like a tech billionaire who just went for a slight nap, even with fresh cucumber slices falling from your eyes. During the time you have been asleep, the world has been ravished by great tsunamis that have flooded the world, and only the tallest of skyscrapers have emerged. You play as an unnamed male protagonist whom I shall call Handy, as he has a robotic socket where his right hand should be, which comes in very handy, as it's where you will attach a variety of attachments to it to allow you to disassemble and gather a wide variety of items around the world. The developers of the game, Mandragora, are a small Armenian development team focused on developing high-quality gaming with a focus on interactive experiences. I Am Future is touted as a casual, cozy, survival, base-building life sim, and it is. But it is a bit more as well, as there is always something to do to keep you busy. The first thing that catches my attention is the art style of the game. It's very unique for this type of genre, a little cartoony with bright, vibrant colors that brings forth a set of calm. I like the way that Mr. Handy has a little bit of pep in his step as he bounds along without a care in the world. Your starting area is fairly confined on the rooftop, overrun with plants and the odd hover car, and kind of look like a high-tech hillbilly's backyard. When you start, your actions will be very limited, as you'll only be able to pick up and disassemble basic items such as plastic containers for plastic scraps and bushes for biomass. When one of the first characters you'll run into is a talking refrigerator named Earl. Earl will set you on a set of basic missions and tasks, kind of set up the tutorial, as well as give you some cooking tips. You can tell the developers want to keep the game lighthearted, as the dialogue in the game is pretty witty, and you'll quickly learn that robots play a major role in the world that was. The UI of the game is pretty straightforward and clean, showing you your health bar and food level, as well as your different crafting options. If your food level gets too low, you'll start taking a little health hit, and if your health falls to 0, you'll pass out. But after a little nap, Mr. Handy will be back up, ready to go with some health and some food to boot. Movement around the game world is pretty standard using the WSAD keys and the mouse buttons to pick up items, but some of the hitboxes can be a little off, especially when you have several items in an area. One example is using the lift to get to the water area for fishing and gathering water. If you're not standing in the right area or have something equipped, it won't let you use the lift. It's not a game-breaking issue, but just a quality of life thing. The crafting system in the game comes in 2 varieties. The first is that you can craft basic items from your backpack, using items on hand, as well as placing down crafting stations that will give you more crafting options, like the campfire for cooking, the workbench for items, and even a resource printer for more complex items to make. When you place down a crafting station or other piece of equipment to be built, an outline of the item will be shown, and when you bring the necessary items to the location, you then add them until the item is completed. All in all, I feel the crafting system is very well done and easy to understand. One thing I especially like about the crafting station is that they each have their own personal inventory, and you could add commonly used crafting materials so you don't always have to have them in your inventory to craft with, like in some other survival games. Another game mechanic that I love in the game, and I hope to see a lot more variety of, is the disassembly system. Occasionally you'll find complete mechanical items, such as an electric tea kettle, and you must manually take the item apart to get to the resource materials contained within. So this puzzling little minigame consists of you rotating the item around, looking for screws that you can take out, covers to remove, to get to the goodies inside, like the copper wiring, batteries, transformers, and more. It's not highly complex, but it is fun and relaxing to feel like MacGyver taking things apart. Eventually, the starting area of your rooftop is going to get fairly scarce in terms of resources that you can use, so you'll need to explore the surrounding area. Almost every item on the map can be used as a material for crafting. So exploring the area around you is paramount to your success. As you rove the rooftops, you will come across new blueprints that will unlock new crafting stations, materials, and even new outfits. In the over 8 hours that I've currently been playing, I've made it to only 4 different areas of my rooftop to explore. And then there is a bridge you can build to another rooftop that I have not yet completed. So there is a lot of area to explore in this game. Every time you find a new attachment or learn to tear down something new, it opens a plethora of new items to gather and technologies to learn and craft. And it always leaves you with a feeling of accomplishment. Food is always a necessity in every survival game, and this one is no different. Though not as tough to gather as in some other survival games, you are able to eat any biomass you're able to gather from plants. Cooking up the leafy greens and learning to craft better and more exotic food is a way to save on resources and boost your health and food in one fell swoop. Earl will give you some tips on starting recipes, but many are learned by trial and error in chef mode, where you add different ingredients and see if you can make something delicious or at least useful. You won't lose any ingredients as you test them out, but it can be a bit tedious as you try and swap out different cooking ingredients to see if you find some secret recipe. So I have explained one of 3 methods of getting food. The first is foraging for food around the map. The next is fishing. As you make your way to the old fishing hole, you will come across a fishing pole with some bait. Fishing is simple. Throw your pole in, wait for something to bite, then play a little minigame where a disc pops up and a hand goes around the disc. Click the mouse when the hand is in the right spot, and voila! You pull up the secret from the depths. It could be a crafting material, a clam, a fish, and that's about it. Fish without any bait and you'll get resources or a clam. Yay. Yay. Use the clam as bait and you'll get a specific fish. Use a worm, and you'll get another specific fish. There doesn't appear to be much randomness to fishing, and I am unsure if that's a good thing or a bad thing at this moment. The third way to get food, and one of my favorites, is farming. Farming is simple enough. Find some fertilizer and a plank, and you can make a garden bed. Throw some seeds in the bed, wait a bit, add water, then harvest when ready, and usually when you harvest your crops, you'll get some seeds in return to replant the harvested crop. Fresh water to water the crops isn't too hard either, as you just need to take the lift to the fishing hole, use a bucket to pull up some salt water, and then use the campfire to turn into fresh water. Easy enough. If you have only a few garden beds, but once you start getting more, you're going to need some sprinklers, and that takes us to another mechanic of the game: automation. One of the cutest and most helpful features of the game is the automation. You have simple automation, such as the sprinkler system that you can manually add water to water your plants for you, or you can even put together some of your own robotic minions to do the chores for you, collect resources, etc., and you can even customize how they look. But they will need a charger station to recharge, so for that you need electricity. Electricity isn't that hard to create once you learn the blueprints for making a biomass generator. Throw some plant matter in, and the electricity comes out. Build some power poles to direct it, hook up more appliances to it, and you've got a fully functional base. But since you have almost free power, you might want to mine some crypto. That's right, I said crypto. Let's mine some Ucoin, right from the comfort of your very own rooftop paradise. If you keep the electricity flowing, it will continue to make Ucoin for you, which you will be able to use at Hoarder's Shop to get some much needed goods, new seeds, equipment, you name it. The only downside is that there is currently no selling system that I found to allow you to trade some of your overflowing materials for something that's more needed. The last thing to go over is the right time. The future does have a day and night cycle that opens up a few different issues. Some of the seeds you plant, such as the mushrooms, only grow during the night, while bright blooms only bloom during the day. But there is a more ominous issue that arises when the sun sets, and that's the electrocytes. Strange, mutated creatures that seem oddly attracted to electricity and crops. Currently, I have only run into one type, and that is the leech, a blue slug-type creature that slowly moves toward crops, open flames, and electrical devices. If the leeches reach an item they want to eat for lunch, they will start to munch on it until it is destroyed. And once they have their fill, they will burrow into the ground and create a spiny bush that will spawn more leeches. Currently, the only way to combat the leeches is to pick them up and move them, which causes health damage in the process, or craft a bug spray that works against them and their spiny bushes. Or last, craft a different type of barricades to keep them at bay. Not only are the leeches a pest, but they are also a source of resources that you can use their corrosive goo to make batteries, and their tails as bait to fish with. And the developers have said that they plan to add more pests to deal with, like persistent caterpillars, and even dangerous hornet. I Am Future is one of those games that has a lot to offer a variety of different players. The game kept me wanting to come back for more, and I'm surely going to put much more time into it to see what the game has in store for us. Now, to sum it all up. The game offers a very polished experience. I Am Future has a great art style, maps, and controls. Many early access games don't come across nearly as polished as I Am Future, and that is a big plus. Meaningful progression. Every new technology you unlock opens more of the game world and does not force you to progress if you do not want to. Intricate crafting systems. Besides the basic items you can create, some of the workstations do require electricity to function, allowing unlimited base design and usefulness. Good game mechanics. I Am Future is an ambitious title, adding many different elements which meld well together. Farming, fishing, electricity, and automation. And my favorite, disassembly, MacGyver style. A destructible environment. It's not often you find a game where every item in the game can be used in one fashion or another. I Am Future does just that. On the other hand, it does have repetitious music. Though the music is uplifting and fitting of the game, it appears just to be one or two tracks that play repeatedly. Minigames lack risk. The minigames add a bit of odd fun to the game, but have no risk associated with them, especially fishing. A little risk will make it a lot more rewarding. Poor hitboxes. Not a major one, but the lift just rubs me the wrong way. Make it all clickable, and I'll love you forever. My final rating for I Am Future in its current state is 8.5 out of 10.